I am so excited. As I mentioned, we're going to start with this macro first approach. So essentially, instead of, starting from a small, tiny bit of research and moving up to try to make content fit into our content pillars, we are going to start by building our content pillars first. So stick with me. The more we walk through this, the more it'll make sense. I promise. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about something that might seem a little bit basic, but it bears repeating. Your content pillars are different from your goals, right? Each post should absolutely 100% have a purpose. I've often described these as educate, entertain, inspire, and convert. However, your content pillars should not be entertain, educate, inspire, and convert. That's the intended outcome you have from posting. It should not be your content pillar. Your content pillars are essentially buckets or pillars that you should pull content from. It's essentially the North Star of your social media strategy since we're starting from a macro approach. So, what does that mean? I want us to really start by keeping them simple. We're going to go into a little bit more detail on what I mean, but I don't want us to overthink what these might look like. So stick with me. So, what are they? Content buckets or pillars, you'll kind of hear me talk about them interchangeably like this. They are subcategories within your niche that help you categorize your content and connect with your audience. So, at a core level, that's what it is. It is not the industry that you're in. So, if you are a landscaper, your content buckets are not landscaping, right? That is the audience that you work within, the industry you work within, and the people you are trying to serve. So, pillars are subcategories within your niche. So, if you aren't aware or have insight into your niche, let's absolutely do that first. So pause this video and be sure to make sure you have a good understanding of what your niche is. So they could be three things, basically. The pillars could be subject oriented, they could be goal oriented, or they could be both. So you're going to sense a trend here that as long as they are not generic enough, but broad enough, basic enough that you can create content underneath them, I have no preference on what the orientation of these content buckets or pillars might be. Why do they matter? Well, they matter for a lot of reasons, but these are the three that I can think of that are the most important. And starting at the top, they help you determine what to post. This is why I want to start from this macro level approach versus a micro approach. If you don't have a content pillar, content buckets set up, essentially, you're going to find yourself really running into a lot of blank page, or blank space issues. Not sure what to post. This really helps you center this framework and gives you a better guidepost on where to start. And they also help you engage different subsets of your audience. We are not monoliths as people. We believe and like and engage with lots of different things. And that's kind of the one thing that unites all of us humans. So when you write down your different content buckets, it helps you essentially understand the different subsets of your very unique audience. And finally, they help you have consistent messages over time. They help you stay unified so that if you want to open it up to Instagram, if you want to open it up to TikTok, Pinterest, whatever you may, or wherever you want to go to grow your social media marketing calendar or content, this will help you stay consistent because it'll give you a framework to reference back to. So now to you. If you feel ready, we're going to work through an exercise in a couple of minutes. We can start by creating 5 to 8 content pillars. I know that seems like a lot, but at the exercise I ask you to do at the end, you might find that you have far more than this. But I promise that you don't. So I want you to work through that understanding. Okay, so here are mine. I want to make sure I share with you essentially what I have. See how they're pretty basic? They're pretty simple. Social news, personal, life lately, humor, success stories, and community. That's it. Those are essentially my 6. Some other ones creep in there, as my personal, as my professional and lifestyle goals ebb and flow, but these are kind of the main 6. And that's what this looks like. So this might be a bit of an eye chart, hard to see, but I wanted you just to take a quick look at just a snapshot of my feed. And I've kind of assigned a content bucket to each. So what you'll notice here is that community tends to crop up more than anything else, and that's okay. I'm not here to tell you that you should kind of equally distribute your content buckets across each. It can be as weighted to one versus the other, as long as you're still hitting all of your content pillars. So, what niche are you in? Right? I want you to sit and take a moment to think about that. Once you think about as many subcategories or categories within your niche, I want you to circle 5 to 8 of the best ones. Okay, so let's say, for example, you're in the wedding space. You have a wedding niche. You may have some general subcategories that include vendor shoutouts, venues, top tips, client spotlights. Start by writing everything you can possibly think of within that niche and circle 5 to 8 of the best ones. If you find that you can only really circle 4, that's fine. If you feel as though you have 10, that's fine. I want you to pick the ones that you know you can produce content for. How do you tell? How can you tell that it's a content pillar that is meant to be included on your list? First of all, it's easily identifiable. So if you think about, comfy outfits, right? That's pretty basic, right? It's easily identifiable versus comfy outfits to work from home in. That might be a little bit more specific. They're general enough to come up with lots of content. So I mentioned, if you're in the wedding space, you can put real weddings, venues, vendor tips, etc. They're general enough that you feel like you can support a content structure underneath it. It's something your audience will be interested in, right? This is a great core understanding, and to start thinking deeper on what kind of person you're trying to reach. And finally, it provides value. So I would start by saying, we talk about value over volume earlier in the course, but a picture of your face might not inherently provide a lot of value, although how it might look beautiful. But if in the caption you have all of the makeup tagged, or you talk about a personal story that might connect with someone, and showing an up close picture of your face is the best way to do that, then that is a post that is providing value. So what I want you to do is start with this framework. Start to think through within your niche the 5 to 8 content pillars you want to talk about, right? These can change. They will ebb and flow, but this is where I want us to start when we talk about a macro approach to building our content count.